Hi everybody, welcome. Step on in. Today we are going to have a serious talk about a human being and Diana's son, a man called Harry. And do not despair. I do not think I'm going to make you mad with this one. I remember video and photographs of Harry and a bodyguard, I think at a Waitrose or something, and the bodyguard showing Harry how to use his bank card. I do not think any of us actually realize just how stunted Harry is in his maturity and mental growth. That filmed incident with Harry and his bank card could not have been too long ago. I know the media tried to use it and say, oh, look, Harry is shopping for food when they were staying in Vancouver Island. But at the time, I proved that it was taken a couple of years prior. So let's guess, or just to support our argument, and let's say Harry was somewhere between 28 and 30. Now, a man of 28 or 30 who does not know how to use a bank or a credit card, this is but one example. There were at the time many things he has not done before, like pump gas, change a tire, fix a plug, just a load of stuff which we would take for granted. And again, this was Harry somewhere between 28 and 30. Then we add to that mix someone who was born angry, someone who has not outgrown childish jealousy, someone who was not blessed with either intelligence or common sense, and then he had even bigger misfortune by marrying a woman who is neither supportive nor caring and who is so involved with her own ambitions that she did not care to nor had the time to help Harry transition from the world of palaces, valets and butlers to the outside world with everything that comes with it. How it happened and exactly why it happened, I'm not sure. But if you cast your mind back, I'm sure that you, like me, could actually see Harry change. He may have been a nasty little shit at times, but I never saw Harry as a completely selfish, nasty, uncaring, unfeeling, horrible bloke. I mean, yes, maybe he was spoiled and entitled and a foot-stomping brat, but he really looked happy and relaxed doing certain things, like he looked happy working with animals and children in Africa, he looked happy playing sport, or just hanging out with ex-army and veterans. And I'm even going to stick my neck out and say that had Harry married someone else, he might have done great things. You know, sometimes people who are not overthinking geniuses do end up doing greater things than anyone would expect. Unfortunately, Harry met someone who fed and stoked the flaws and the nastiness that was already in Harry. It was just buried and suppressed. But Megan came along and took the ugliness, the jealousy, the entitlement, and she gave it fuel and she let it grow because she thought that by doing so, they, and then eventually her, could milk the royals for all they are worth. And poor, dumb, stupid Harry, thinking that she was so in love with him, fell for it. And now we have a Harry who is indeed a horrible person, a nasty piece of work. Now, I listened to Katie Nichol on the Piers Morgan show this morning, and there was a moment when I could see how emotional she got. There was indeed a flash of real sadness in her eyes. And then when you listen to her, you realize what these accusations and this particular court case did to her. Katie is 49 and has written about the royals for well over 20 years. She had been writing articles for Vanity Fair since 2010. Like any normal person, Katie Nichol had her setbacks. She was diagnosed with a rare bile duct cancer in 2023, and after that, her marriage of 18 years broke down, etc., etc. Now, I think we all know how important certain things become when you have survived something like cancer. And for Katie, I'm sure it was her children and her job. Did Harry at any point care about what he was doing to Katie, accusing her of illegal actions during her illustrious 20-plus year career? No, he didn't. Did he care one iota about the lives and the careers of Charlotte Griffiths, of Rebecca English? No, he didn't. Look, if these three women had the kind of past and the kind of history of, say, Harry's wife, I might have felt a little differently. But I went and I did some checks on these women, and all three of them are highly educated. They are very, very hard workers and with little to no scandal. Imagine if this court case went in a different direction, what it would have done to the careers and the lives of these three women and their families. Did Harry for one moment stop to consider his actions and what the consequences could have been for others? No, he did not. He cares as much about these people as Meghan did when she complained about Piers Morgan to ITV's CEO, Dame Carolyn McCall. They do not care. What did Harry say? I mean, he said, Meghan gets what Meghan wants. Well, you dumb twat. You are too blind to see that Meghan actually did not win against Piers Morgan. No, she actually did Piers Morgan a favor. Piers is no longer restrained by protocol, and he is indeed very successful. He's hosting his own very successful Piers Morgan Uncensored, and this particular YouTube channel is then also broadcast as a weekly highlight series on Channel 5. Do you for 1 minute think that he's not being paid for that? No, of course not. He's probably earning more than he did at ITV. And over and above that, he still writes opinion pieces for, among others, The Telegraph. So what did Meghan achieve? Absolutely nothing. All she did was to unshackle the beast. But Harry is too ignorant and too dumb to actually have realized it. They still, after all of that, thought they were cream cheese, when in reality they are nothing more than sour milk. Although, in my ignorance of legal matters, I am a little surprised at the outcome of the case, I can also honestly tell you that I'm also not surprised. Prior to the verdict, I was actually going through some of this stuff and I was racking my brain, and I could not, for the life of me, come up with any reason or law under which Judge Nichols could have found in Harry, Elton John, or any of the 7 complainants' favor. Not one of them brought any solid evidence. None. It was all about how they felt and so forth and so forth. No actual physical proof that they were spied on or hacked. Not only can I not see Katie, Charlotte, or Rebecca doing anything illegal for a story, jeopardizing their careers they worked decades for, gaining enough trust to do stints on the Royal Rota. Imagine any of them risking all of that just for one single article, say about Harry's girlfriend flying first class sitting in seat 2B. Really? Really? Not exactly front page material, is it? But now let's skip the human aspect for a while. Harry and his co-claimants were warned repeatedly, both pre-trial and post-trial, about the financial consequences and the lack of evidence in their lawsuit. Lawyers for A&L continually described the allegations as preposterous. They argued openly that there is no evidence and that the case relied on conjecture and should not proceed. Not only that, though, and here I do blame Judge Nichols a little, these claims were brought far too late. According to the United Kingdom law of defamation and privacy, lawsuits has to be brought within 6 years. So I really do not know why the judge actually, in the first place, allowed the case to proceed. Then, as if all of that was not enough, Harry's and Elton John and Company key witness Gavin Burrows, whose alleged statement and confession claimed that he hacked phones, tapped landlines and bugged homes, was, according to him, false. Now the issue here is that Burrows had repeatedly claimed that he made no such statement and that his signature was forged. Yet Harry and Company pushed ahead. And then, when Burrows gave evidence, surprise! He testified that he never worked for or was ever paid to work for A&L. After that, I knew it was over. Actually, all of us sort of knew, I'm pretty sure of that. But like me, you also thought that the judge would find something, something in one of the claims, just because Harry is Harry, or then Prince Harry. But thank God, Nichols is a brave man. Thank goodness he has integrity, and thank goodness he has respect for the truth. It really is time that someone leads in this fight against money and power. I'm not only talking about England, but all over. There are far too many people paying their way out of trouble, far too many who think they are untouchable. As for Harry, well, Harry will be 42 in September. If this does not jolt him awake and cause him to reflect, then I'm afraid there's no hope for him. Remember, he still has the case Sophie Chanduka brought against him ahead of him. And if he treats that case like he did this one, then he's going to lose that one too. And believe me, a number of people have spoken out about Harry's conduct. Let me give you a tip. Just a little hint, okay? Harry has not been taught boundaries. He thinks it is okay to slap your bodyguard. He thinks pinching another guy's nipples or a slap on the butt is okay and that it is acceptable. Sorry, Harry, not in Africa. So if I was Harry, I would publicly apologize to Sophie Chanduka, both verbally and in writing, because if he can't settle this out of court, I'm afraid he's going to lose yet another court battle. And then in closing, I want to ask you this. How much more do you think Harry will be able to take? Pa better take those titles and beg Parliament to take the ducal titles before Meghan Markle ends up being a duchess for life. I'm not suggesting anything, I'm just saying. Okay, guys, that is it from me for today. Please take good care of yourselves. Stay vigilant. As always, stay safe. Bye.